Hey guys, good morning. I am doing my usual where I sit here and have philosophies of life and I get like these downloads of just epiphanies I think that I realize, especially with things that I'm going through in my own life. And I want these inner work videos to always be so good, and every time I just get in my head a lot before I film them. Like always wait until I'm super ready or super motivated to do them. And today I'm fighting against that, and I am not getting really ready for this, and I'm just gonna do this in my bed and we're just gonna talk. But I was thinking about what I want to do for this inner work video, and what I want to do, it's what I've been thinking about, is forgiveness and compassion. I'm trying to position this tiny little tripod on my bed, which is just not a move, but we're gonna, don't fall. And don't look at my spray tan hands. Ah! All right, hold on, there we go. I brought my Big Daddy tripod, so it should stay there. So I was sitting here and thinking about, you guys are gonna think I'm a little tutu, but to me, I don't think there's anything that's more real. So if you get me and you understand me, I love you. And if you don't, I totally get it, kind of. So I'm gonna try to talk about things in general from a religious way and a spiritual way, because the truth is it's all the same. It's just different interpretations of how you want to look at things in life and energy and all of that. Okay, I'm just gonna jump into this. Okay, I don't know why I'm like kind of afraid, but it's just gonna sound crazy, but it is the truth, and probably the most important video that I make thus far. So in the let's start with religion. I was raised Catholic. Went to a Catholic high school, baptized, all that. So if you want to look at things from a religious standpoint of things in life, so in the Bible, you know, the second coming of Jesus is coming, and he's gonna part the clouds and, you know, and choose the people that that believe in him and God, and they're gonna go to heaven, and the rest of everybody's just gonna burn in hell, or, you know, stay here or whatever. And in spirituality, you know, in religion, that's the second coming. In spirituality, it's the Great Awakening. Christ consciousness. Christ is a consciousness. It's not a person. And Jesus accessed this Christ consciousness, and he was a dormant vessel. We don't really know about his childhood and his upbringing because he was learning life just like all of us. And then he just hit Christ consciousness, which is your highest self. It's we all have a piece of God in us, because I can get all into that later. I'm not even gonna get into it, but we are God and God is us. It's in us, right? Our goals in life, I believe one of them, or a big one, or big accomplishments that we can do, is reach that center of our highest self, and then help other people do the same things, and live in a planet where more people are living in their authenticity, their center, their Christ consciousness. And Jesus tried, and not only Jesus, many other people have come to try to teach people that we can all access Christ consciousness. So we were never meant to worship Jesus, we were meant to follow him, right? Now in spirituality, if you want to look at it too, which to me that is spirituality, but you know, some people are very weary about religion because religion truthfully is man-made. And anything that's man-made, there's going to be a little ego in there. An ego, if it's not controlled, can be a dark entity. So people are noticing a lot of the dark entities that is created within religion, like self-righteousness. Like a lot of people who are religious of any kind think, my beliefs are right, yours are wrong, I'm going to live in heaven and you're going to burn in hell for eternity. And I see a lot of religious people who are very spiteful and like, oh, that person did this horrible thing. so I hate them, or you're gonna get judged, or you're gonna go to hell, and I'm better than you, and look at these people, and this and that, and all that, and this superiority that goes along with this is not religion. It's not Jesus. It's not the teaching of Jesus. It's the polar opposite of that. So people are kind of understanding that it's just, in my way of looking at it, the way religion is built upon this fear-based thing, and the opposite of love is not hate, it's fear. When religion or anything is teaching you fear, that, oh, if you don't worship me, you are going to burn in hell for eternity. And that, if you don't do these things or whatever, and everybody else is wrong and we're right. To me, if you want to look at Satan as a thing, as a person in a way, that to me sounds like if he was going to make a religion for himself, it would be that. And people are starting to kind of notice that. And so it's steering people away from religion. And so like what? People are atheists now, and more people are becoming atheists because they're just not understanding. Just things aren't matching up. And it's because we are evolving as human beings, that it's not that religion is wrong or bad. It needs to be looked at in a different way than what it is. And God is not a clique. Okay, there's no cliques in God. I mean, if you truly understand the laws of everything, we are all one and we're all united. So I think things that are cliquey aren't the true meaning and message and the flow of what it's supposed to be. And I find it really interesting. And I know that a lot of things that I'm gonna say in this video are going to trigger a lot of people, but this is my channel. I can talk about what I want, and these are my beliefs. But in spirituality, the other side of things, if you know, we are reaching a higher consciousness. So we all have a consciousness, right? Individually. We shoot out energy, and we're magnets, and we radiate energy, everybody. And so we all have our own individual consciousness. And then as the planet as a whole has a conscious level. And we are reaching from a 3D dimensional way of looking at things that we can only, and that's why religion, it wasn't bad or anything like that. It was because it was structured in a way for us to kind of like understand things and where our brains were at. But now we're just, we're reaching a place in time that is supposed to happen. We are always supposed to evolve, is that we are more evolved than that. We're understanding like, hey, we're actually all just one. We're actually all praying to the same God. What a lot of people are forgetting nowadays, no matter what you want to believe in life, is compassion and forgiveness for one another. And in order for us to reach a higher conscious level, or to reach authenticity, our highest selves, and to live in a happier life, which I want to live in a happier life. I work at that. That's why I'm so about like inner work. And I've had a lot of trauma in my life. I don't want to deal with that. I want to be happy. I want to be free. I want to live in my authentic truth. And I want to spread love. And I want to live in love and light, right? So in order for me, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm working on this myself, so I'm sharing it with you, is forgiveness and compassion for everyone, especially when it's the hardest. And that's the test. So it's like, we are reaching a higher level of consciousness, and people, you can see it. I mean, the pandemic, I don't believe anything is a coincidence. And everything in life is a balance. So the balance of the pandemic was the punch in the face for everybody, where the whole world was like, whoa, what? And we had to sit with our thoughts and realize, wait, the way I'm living my life isn't the way I want to live. And there's all these things that start boiling up, all this gunk that we've been living in and we're currently going through it, is coming up to the surface. And there's chaos, and there's all these things, and destruction, and there's the Me Too, and there's all these things that we're now realizing this isn't working and this isn't working. And so it seems chaotic right now, but it's because the structures that we're living in just isn't working for the dimensions that we're walking into. And the second coming, and you want to look at the Bible, Jesus isn't coming down and, doing a click thing again. It's the consciousness level. More and more people are waking up to their Christ consciousness, which is awesome. It's amazing. And so that's where it goes in the Bible, where some people are going to heaven, some people are going to hell. People who don't want to do their inner work, and people who want to, and it's not that they're choosing to. Everybody wants to be happy. But it's the demons, it's the trauma, it's the limiting beliefs, it's the unworthiness, the demons that are keeping people stuck in this illusions of them being bound and trapped, when we all want freedom, and we can have freedom, and we all are a lot more free than we think we are. But doing your inner work is learning what those religion demons way of looking at it. And to me, demons aren't like these scary things that hide in shadows. Demons to me is anything that is holding us back from reaching our Christ consciousness. And that is the true beliefs and the teachings that should be taught in religions and all that stuff. And it's just like the way you want to look at it. You want to look at it from like a story point of view, like a more like old OG way of looking at things. Yeah, those are not wrong. There's stories that teach us that way, but that's what it is. It's things that keep us from Christ consciousness. And that can be ego, insecurity, again, trauma, all that stuff. So the Great Awakening is people that are doing their inner work. They're letting go of those demons, those traumas. They're working through them, and they always will come up. They never really go away all the time. They'll always come up, and that's the trick to healing, is that right when you think you're healed, you'll get triggered into something, and then you gotta like work on it again, and that's okay. And that's just life. It's the dance of life. It's okay. But the Great Awakening is the people who are stepping into this new way, this Christ consciousness, are closer to it, and living in a more peaceful heaven mindset. And then people who can't do that, they're living in a hell type of mindset. So that to me is heaven and hell. And that's a totally other thing of what I believe in that. And it honestly doesn't even matter. But when I was thinking about things, like I recently had, for people to understand the lingo, a dark night of the soul recently. If you are new to spirituality, you will know what the dark night of the soul is. And if you're just having your first few or realizing what a dark night of the soul is, it can be dark. It can feel lonely. It's so uncomfortable. It's the worst. But I've been through enough already that I now understand that every time I hit a dark night of the soul, it's time for me to reflect, and it's an opportunity and a gift for me to look at things in a different perspective. And it's a lesson. Everything is a lesson. Karma is a lesson. Oh God, there's so much I can talk about right now. Karma is a lesson, and whatever. My lesson, if I learn it, is then it's like the upgrade of graduating to the next level of being happier and free within myself and just operating at a higher frequency. Recently, what I went through, and one of my tests is forgiveness and compassion. Like, I've had a lot of things happen to me in my life. Last year, I got hurt really bad, and when you're hurting really bad, it's the first thing that you think of is that person's a piece of shit, that person's bad, or this situation is bad. And it's not even just last year, just so many things in my life that's happened. This person's bad. Poor me, I'm a victim. Why does this always happen to me? Life is unfair. This person gets to live this way and I have to live this way, blah, 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 right? That's okay to feel that way for a very, very short bit. I've had a lot of anger and frustration and victim mentality, whatever it is, to things that's happened to me in my past. And in order for me to not, and these things, that this anger and this rumination of things that's happened to me is a demon of mine. It's something that's holding me back from being truly happy, because things are starting to like surface up. And for all of us, these things surface up in a new relationship or a new situation, any relationship, friendships, romantic, in business, with yourself, with your animals, with your kids, with your family, whatever. That's when they come up, and that's when unhealed trauma is. And then you pour it onto other people, or people pour it onto you. Like, you start seeing the dynamic of things. I don't want that in my life. I want to be free of that. I don't want to put negativity out, or whatever it is. So I have to do reflection. Why are these triggers coming up? Why are these traumas coming up? Why? I gotta let it go. How can I let it go? Compassion, forgiveness. Oh, okay. It's so much, as we all know, it's so much easier said than done to just forgive somebody and let it go. And forgiving somebody isn't, being friends with that person again or whatever. But so I was reflecting, and I was thinking of what true forgiveness is. People mess up really bad, and people do hurtful things. It becomes from trauma that they have had from their parents, from their experiences of life, or them getting their heart broken, and they build up walls and they hurt people, and they don't care about other people, or whatever it is. And it's easy for us to be like, oh, you're a piece of shit, you deserve to be in hell, blah, 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 blah. Well, now we're projecting. And if you understand energy or magic or whatever it is, what you put out, you will always get back. And everything is a mirror to you. And I've been challenging myself on this, that when I project onto other things, or I see things in a certain way, especially if it's negative in any way, how that's mirroring back to me. And when you really do that deep dive into things, you will realize that you kind of do those things too in a certain way or another. And the universe will always give you lessons and show you, oh, you're projecting that onto somebody. I'm going to put you in a situation and see how you handle it. Or I'm going to put you in a situation that someone's going to do that to you, and in some way or form, you have done something like that in some way or another. And when you're able to notice that, you're able to take, let's say this is a situation of trauma in your life, and it's just like this thing right here. The best thing you can do, and this is what alchemy is, you take a situation, and it's hard. This is really, really hard to do, and it's very, very triggering, and it takes time to like truly process through this. But let's say you take a trauma. I have learned that no matter what happens to me, I like to take full accountability, even if it's things I really shouldn't take accountability for. Like, there's times where I act like I did something wrong, when really I didn't do anything wrong, but I just like to take full accountability of things, because at the same time, we have full control. Like, rather if it's like, let's say you were in an abusive relationship. Yeah, that person's a piece of shit, that person's a narcissist, that person's this and that. But I stayed. I was in it. Sometimes I matched that energy to try to show that person what it felt like. You caved into that and you let that thing tear you down. That's you. That's you. No one bound you to the wall, made you stay there. And that could be really, really triggering for a lot of people. But when you understand things and you have compassion not only towards other people but towards yourself, you understand that there's reasonings for that. It's unworthiness issues, it's self-love, it's fear of abandonment, it's so many understandable things. So it's just looking at it differently and working through that. So anyways, I like to take things in accountability. So this is how I take situation. Let's say this is like a certain type of trauma or bad blood between somebody or whatever it is that's kind of like weighing on you. You have it here. You sit with it. A lot of people, I like being alone a lot, but sometimes I'll find myself on my phone a little too much. We all do. You're watching TV, you're watching Netflix, you're doing all these things. Take time to yourself to really reflect. And it can feel lonely, it can feel bad, but it's not. It is not. We should all be sitting at times in solitude and reflect on our lives and how we're acting, how we're treating people, what kind of people we're welcoming in our lives, what kind of situations we're welcoming into our life. We need to sit there with it. It's good. Don't sit on your phone as much. Use your time wisely. And I'm saying that to myself too. But you sit here with this, sorry if I'm all over the place. You sit here with this situation, right? You're reflecting on it. First thing we all do, this person, this situation, unfair, piece of shit, horrible person, demon, devil energy, whatever it is. And then the hard thing is, what a lot of people don't do, but it's such a powerful thing and it's such a liberating thing once you feel safe enough to do it. Take you and look at yourself and see what you've done wrong. And then that takes time. Sometimes you really need to heal through the trauma of that. But this can also help healing trauma go faster. But you notice that and you see all the things that you did wrong. Now think about all the up things that you've done wrong. Some people think I'm great. I have some people that think I'm the worst person in the world. That think I'm evil or some shit, right? I know my intentions. I know my story. I know my side. Because I know I'm not evil. I know I didn't mean to do this or whatever it is in this situation. Or maybe that person just doesn't want to take accountability and they want to live in their world that I'm the evil one. Whatever. I've been that person too, where I want to believe the other person's evil, right? It's easier to live like that. Sometimes I've said things and it comes across wrong and people hate me for it. I don't know, whatever. But I want forgiveness. I want people to understand me. I wish people would understand me. And a lot of times, I've come from a lot of pain and a lot of hurt. So it's I want that for me, right? I want people to understand me, but I'm not gonna understand that person because they did me wrong. And I think they're a piece of shit. It doesn't work that way. The way we project onto others, you get back. That's everything. You wanna talk shit about somebody, you wanna judge somebody, you wanna mock somebody, you wanna laugh at somebody, you wanna pray on someone's downfall, guess what? Guess what? That comes right back to you. So, how do we break that? How do we break that? Well, we look at ourselves, we change the mirror that we look in ourselves. And you know what? I want compassion. I gotta give that person compassion. And you start looking at their situation and you start understanding the deep down innocence of who that person is. And once you start understanding one another, that's called compassion. You're able to see the light and the love into that. And then once you find the compassion, understanding, you're able to release this negative energy that's keeping you bound to this, right? That's kind of weighing on you, that maybe you're thinking about it a lot and whatever. It helps you release it and understand that we're all learning. We all have trauma. Not everybody is meant to be in our lives forever. And every bad thing that happens to us, growth comes from pain. I'm sorry, it sucks to admit that, but it's true. Being comfortable, being happy all the time, there's no growth in that, unfortunately. So anytime someone hurts you, this is the highest way of looking at things. I'm telling you, this is not easily said. But the highest version of you will always be thankful for it. Because that person has shown you something. Maybe that person shows you, you know what? I'm never gonna deal with that ever again in my life. And for the rest of your life, you are now able to spot things. You're able to protect yourself, and because you're learning and you're wiser and you're able to make the right decisions because you know what you don't want. And that is massive. That is a massive lesson. My battery's gonna die, so I'm gonna make this fast. There's so much I want to say. It's understanding, it's letting go. Now, if you understand manifesting and now back to spirituality and timelines, right? You want to reach your highest timeline. You want to be your happiest. You want to be your most abundant. You want to be your baddest bitch or badass guy, whoever's watching. It's moving forward, right? We got to move forward, but a lot of times we get brought back, right? And something that I've recently been kind of working on in order to, and this is getting rid of trauma of any kind. And this might sound crazy to a lot of people, or this might like work for others how it kind of works for me. Like if you understand, there's timelines. Like when you keep thinking about something, you're attaching yourself to that timeline still. That timeline where you were so unhappy, or you were mistreated, or you felt like nothing and you were really unhappy, whatever it is, you're attaching yourself. So you're not allowing this new timeline or this new world where you can be and do whoever you want, and you can be the best version of yourself. You don't have to be this thing that has happened to you, right? So it's easier to have compassion, let it go. But I like to sometimes, like, I'll probably get into this into another video, but I'm like, I'm so tired of the past. I just want a better future or anything like that. But there's things that emotionally will trigger me throughout the day. Like some days you'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling great today. I found, forgiveness and peace. And the next day you're having a shitty day and you're like, actually, no, f that person. They were a piece of shit, or this thing happened to me, or life's unfair, or whatever it is, because we all go through the ups and downs. We go right back to what we know. And we think the lows are because of what happened, but really it's we're controlling our energy in our mind, which is why we're feeling that way. Because the past has nothing to do with us anymore. It doesn't matter. But again, I'm going to get into the attachment that people have towards their past. But sometimes when I need to like clear everything and it helps me recenter, imagine like you're like an alien that just like woke up on Earth one day and you're living the life that you're living. You don't have a past at all with anybody. You don't know anybody on this planet. You don't have a past of any kind. You are just like come to life. Now what do you do with your life? And for some reason, that helps me. Like anytime I like start thinking about the past or getting bad, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna pretend like nothing of that happened. And I have no past. I don't know anybody. I can be whoever I want right now. I can live a happier, peaceful life. I can be present and give love into everything I'm doing today towards myself. Romanticizing. Maybe I put some jazz music on. I love jazz music. Put jazz music on and light a candle and open the windows and love my dog and go outside into the sunlight. Like romanticize your life. And then when I have to do something that I don't really want to do, but I know it's for my best interest, I put love into it because I love myself and I love the life that I'm given. I love the opportunity that I get to do these things. There's always somebody that has it worse. And your perception is everything in life. And you're able to let things go because when you truly reach your center and you understand that light and dark is inevitable. We are going to experience both. We have the power to create our reality. We have the power to direct our energy towards what we want. We want to direct it towards the positive, or we want to direct it to the negative. We have the power of that. A lot of people feel like they're trapped in the negative. They can't escape it. They watch the news, they do all these things, they self-righteous towards other people, they're judgmental towards other people, they gossip about other people, they talk shit to themselves, they're horrible to themselves, they don't eat right, they don't do those things, they live in victim mindset. Well, I don't care, life's too hard, all those things. But there's always an inspiring story of somebody who had the same situation, if not worse, and they made shit happen, right? Look at J.K. Rowling. Like, there's just so many stories that you can pull from, and everything that you do in life can be so inspiring for other people. So everything is a blessing, believe it or not. And some days, here I am talking about, and there's some days where I'm like, I don't care. Today, I feel like shit, and today I want to feel bad for myself, and today life's unfair. But after a day or two, I'm like, you know what? I know I don't want to sit in this place because this is unhappy, and I don't want to be happy and limiting beliefs. Like, what kind of life is that? I find that to be like a massive, massive thing, and hopefully this video will show you to just release it. Let it go. It sucks. It's not, your feelings are not invalid, but things aren't as heavy as they seem, and you're not bound to these things. anymore. I know this was a lot, and it probably was all over the place. But it's funny, like before I film, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna say, like who am I? Like I get in like in my head, and then I press record and I just start talking, and by the end of it, I have no idea what I just said. I'm gonna add this in there, maybe I'll talk about it in a different video, but I find it to be, if you find it very hard for you to forgive your past, a lot of times what people do, we attach our trauma to our identity. And so when you're asking somebody, like someone has gone through massive trauma, they will attach themselves to it. And then when you tell them to let it go, it feels very uncomfortable because they're like, well, who am I? Because these things that happened to me is a part of me. No, it's not. It happened to you. It's not a part of you. Let it go. And work on that. Go see a therapist, talk to your friends, journal about it, meditate. Understand that things that happen to you is not your identity. You can be whoever you are starting right now. So I challenge you, like I challenge myself, and let's live in a world with more love and light, and most importantly, for each and individually one of us, that we all live in our authentic selves and in true peace and balance. Because everything else will start matching that. Okay, love you guys. Thank you for watching. Do your inner work, and I'll see you guys next time.